I had the pleasure of being able to channel information on Kali Ma during my awakening years ago, and I was definitely taken aback by her energy, but I think that her story definitely needs to be told. Now, first and foremost, after I started my awakening, started hearing voices and things like that, and then learned that I could get information through meditation, okay? And so during this time, I was connecting with different energies and things like that. And also during this time, I also connected with Jesus, which is why I I love Jesus, and I will always promote people to connect with him because he really is the real deal and just a loving energy, okay? But I was still curious about other energies because I mean, if I listen, curiosity killed the cat, okay? Like I'm just a truth seeker, and there are going to be some people that believe that that is irresponsible, and that's fine because this is, I mean, it's just my nature. Like, I just want the truth. That's why I was an atheist for the majority of my life up until my awakening. And when I got to speak to Jesus myself, when I got to see things beyond this reality for myself, that is how I have discovered that God actually is real. It's not the same as the biblical sense, but you get what I'm saying, okay? So, during this time, I connected with Kali Ma. How I got introduced to her was during an astrology reading. I'd never gotten an astrology reading before, and this was part of my journey of self-discovery during my awakening. So I'm getting this astrology reading. She's very nice. The woman is a little, I think she's maybe in her early 60s, perhaps, and very old school. Doesn't have a website. It's just a referral system, and it was over the phone and things like that. And towards the end of my reading, she was like, Kali Ma seems to take an interest in you. And I was like, who's that? She's like, she is the Hindu goddess of death, rebirth, and transformation. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And then that was that. Didn't pay much attention to that after that anyway. Because again, it was just my human personality to not really, I don't like to take in a lot of information. I will listen to it, but I don't like to just identify with that as being the truth. I want to see it for myself. I want to feel it. I want to experience it. And that's how I come to my personal beliefs. And so I just left it alone. And then maybe I couldn't even tell you, I can't tell you a timeline because that's how little I was paying attention to this, I guess. But at some point later on, I felt this need to connect with her. When that happens, that typically means that they are also trying to connect with me. Either that or it is just a contracted thing that is meant to happen. And so it wasn't necessarily that I was seeking her out, but for some reason I was getting called to interact with her. Now, during this time in my awakening, still, I was a little, I knew I needed to be careful because I definitely respected the light and the dark. I also understood that as someone who is intuitive or, people who have psychic abilities and things like that, especially if they have never gotten any training or any not formal education, but any sort of education at all on these abilities, it can be very easy to fall prey to the darker energies. And so, people who are just starting off with like tarot, for instance, like if they don't understand that they need to protect their energy, then they might let dark energies come in and influence their reading, influence them, so on and so forth. Okay. So I was very cautious about it. And so I always would pray, right? I like to work with the angels, like Archangel Michael specifically, white light. It just surround myself with light and light beings, okay? And so the first time I connected with her, it came very easily. Because again, if they are trying to connect with me or if it's contracted, it'll be very easy. If it is something that I'm curious about and that I want to do, it'll take me a little longer. It'll usually take me a solid, I don't know, probably like an hour to meditate, quiet my mind, and really focus and hone in on the interaction, okay? But with her, came very easily. So at the time, I quieted my mind and closed my eyes, probably just meditated for like 5 or 10 minutes. And when I opened my eyes, I see this blue, like a deep blue woman. And she is drop dead gorgeous. Okay. Just a freaking model. Okay. And she's very, like, she's just your standard beautiful 10 out of 10 woman, right? Like curvy, um, kind of voluptuous a little bit, beautiful skin, beautiful eyes, like just, she kind of had like a Megan Fox sort of look to her, like a very sexy look. But, and she had 4 arms, okay? They were empty. She just was kind of sitting there, like looking at me. And it was interesting because her energy was very seductive, right? And you always have to be careful with seductive energy because seduction is never a good energy. It's just not. And so, but I knew this at the time. I had learned that by now. So I was very cautious. Her energy is very seductive and she's beautiful. But when she smiled at me, it was almost like a menacing smile. Like there was something behind the smile that looked a little questionable. It was just a smile that you couldn't trust. Like she was so beautiful and you're very attracted to her, but there's just something about her. Like, okay, her looks and her beauty draw you in, but then her energy kind of pushes you away. And if an energy ever pushes you away, that's clearly something that you should respect, and you should just understand that that's happening and don't go any closer. Okay. So those energies were clearly at play. Okay. And so I asked her, what are you? What do you represent? And instead of telling me anything, or sometimes I'll get words, or I'll get a general feeling or something like that, like a general download. Instead of doing that, she immediately took me to a vision. And this vision was pretty wild. So after I asked her that, I closed my eyes and she takes me to this scene. And I'm going to warn you, it's a little graphic, okay? She takes me to the scene of being a woman. So in this visual, I am in first person what she is. Okay, so she's this woman, I'm this woman. And I'm in this like cave or like a dungeon, like a built out dungeon. It's an underground bunker sort of place. And it looks like it's in the jungle. So the bunker looks like it's made out of clay walls. There's no cement blocks. It doesn't look modern at all. It looks like it's in the jungle. And my wrists are chained to the wall behind me. My wrists are chained and my ankles are chained. And I look around, and this area, I'd say it's probably like the size of this room, maybe. Yeah. And towards the end, there are steps and then a door that leads outside. Okay. So the door is open and you can see clear skies. Okay. And so I'm chained and I look around this bunker place and there are multiple women chained to the walls just like me. And all of us are naked. Okay. So none of us are clothed. We're all chained. Okay. And all the women kind of look the same. They all look like they have tan skin and long dark hair. And so it was kind of signaling to me that wherever we are, we're maybe in like an island type of place or a jungle area or something like that, where the culture just has darker skin, darker features. Okay. I couldn't tell you exactly where. And so we're all just chained. We look well fed, but clearly we don't want to be chained there. Okay. It very much looks like just slaves. And then the door that's open, where you can see clear skies, there's a shadow that overtakes it, and it's in the silhouette of a man. And a man walks down the stairs, and then two men follow after him. So there's three men that walk into this bunker now, where all of us women are. And as they get closer, you can tell that they are not the same culture. They appear to be lighter skinned, maybe European, I don't really know, but their getup is very much more modern. Their outfits looked European or maybe even American or something from the maybe 1700s perhaps. I'm not really sure. I'm not really great with history. And they come in and they're kind of like very just macho, smiling, very obviously just from the scene alone, you can probably gather what's happening, right? Clearly, these women are enslaved and it's not looking good, okay? And so she was very kind as to not show me the details of what happened. But basically, I'm in first person and the man comes closer to me and then I black out. So it's like I shut my eyes, and then when I open them, my body is covered in blood, bruises. I'm in a lot of pain. My legs look like they've been scratched up from either a person or the ground. I'm a lot just happened to me. And I look around to the other women, and the women look the exact same way. They're covered in like dry blood. There's blood on the ground. There is, some of them are crying. Some of them are just passed out. Some of them almost look like they might potentially be dead. It's hard to tell. Like whatever just happened in there was incredibly brutal. And the men are finishing getting dressed and they're laughing. And they just look around and they just kind of chuckle and they start to walk out. Okay. Then, out of nowhere, the door that they were just about to walk out of slams shut. And they stop and they look at the door and they try to open it and they just look at each other and they're like, that's weird. And they start banging on the door. And I look down and I look at my feet, and my feet are starting to turn blue. The same blue that she appeared to me in. My feet start to turn blue, and as the blue starts, there is this anger that starts to well up inside of me. Like it's as if my pain starts to transform into something else. And it starts to grow bigger and bigger. And the anger grows more and more the more my body starts to turn blue. And so then we get my legs, my torso, and I'm starting to feel enraged at this point. And as soon as the blue hits my face, my eyes go black and I black out again. Okay? The next scene when I come out of this blackout it's crazy, is me as this blue woman standing now. And the first thing I notice is my breathing. I'm like breathing really heavily, like I just ran or I just did something, okay? My arms are bent and I'm holding two things, okay? And actually the first thing I notice is my breathing. The second thing I notice are the chains because the chains have been broken off now. So they're still around my wrist, but the chains themselves, they've been broken off the wall. And it's just me. I'm the only person that's standing in this bunker now, and I'm breathing heavily. The chains have been broken off. And in one hand, I have a sword, which was clearly from the men that were there. And in the other hand, I'm holding one of their heads, like one of the male heads. Okay. And I'm just standing there breathing like this. Okay. I look around and all I see is just carnage, blood, body parts, heads everywhere. I'm now covered in blood that isn't mine. And it's just everywhere. It's bad. And the only people that were killed were the men. Like they were dismembered. Okay. And all of the women, their chains have been broken off, but they are absolutely terrified. They're just huddled up with each other against the wall or in the corners, and they're crying and they're just scared. And I'm just standing there kind of processing that I'm the one that just did this. And then I snap out of it. And then I'm back in the room with Kali Ma after sharing that visual with me. Is this the true origin story of her? I don't know. After she gave me this visual, I actually looked up where Kali Ma came from. And the original story is that she was, I could be wrong, but from what I remember is she didn't exist, but there was this war happening, and the Hindu goddess of like femininity and love, she was battling somebody bad. And she wasn't winning, I guess. And so Kali Ma was sparked inside of her and came out and then destroyed the enemy. And after that, I think she just sort of lost control in her own wrath. And Lord Shiva, I believe, laid himself down in front of her so that he could show her that she doesn't have to be that way. Like he like is surrendering for her so that she can soften a little bit, and then she's like shows disgust and like sticks out her tongue or something like that. I think that's the gist of that original story, but I can't be for sure. Okay. So the visual she showed me, I can't say that that was the original story. However, what she told me is that it's not about the actual events of where she came from. It's the energy that she came from. The energy that she was born out of was the energy of pain. Like she was born out of pain. And she became this wrath as a result of injustice. And so she made it very clear that this was not something she wanted to be. This was something that she had to be. And she relates this to me as feminine rage. And after interacting with her, she seems to be the champion for those who have been victimized, and she is the one to correct the imbalance of injustice, especially injustice towards women. And this made perfect sense of why she has the appearance that she has. She appears as this drop dead, gorgeous woman. Yeah, she's blue, but she also has these cool, like tribal looking tattoos that are all black on her body. Just beautiful. But she also has this energy of her that says, you, you will not get very far if you try to dishonor me or disrespect me or even hurt me. And it's funny because it was like her beauty. Now, okay, if I were to play devil's advocate of a man who wanted to take her and make her his or whatever, basically be like the men in that visual, as that kind of man, I would be very attracted to her. And if I had that kind of mindset, I would want to take her and just use her, right? Because of how beautiful she is. But there is this energy, there is this way about her that is trying to tell you that if you even come close to doing that, it's not going to end well for you. And it's very clear that if a man were to do that, she has absolutely no problem cutting his head off. None. She won't even bat an eye. She won't lose any sleep. It is something that she will easily do. Now, even though she can easily do that, she makes it clear that this is not something that she wants to do. She doesn't want to have to be brutal, but it has become a necessary evil, I guess. Which, can you even debate if that's really evil, right? Defending yourself and protecting yourself and balancing justice, that's not really evil, but it's a necessary darkness, I should say. And so why should she be important? Why should anybody pay any mind to Kali Ma or to this feminine rage or to just this idea in general? The reason why she is worth paying mind to is she represents that darker wrath that is within all of us that fuels us to honor ourselves. Sometimes, especially as women, for sure, we have this people-pleasing sort of mentality. And just in people in general, right? Like we want to help others, we want to care about others, and we want to give. But sometimes we give so much with the hope that we will get something in return, as in love and appreciation and things like that, without thinking of whether or not this person deserves that behavior in the first place. And so because I asked her, like, how is it that we can work with you or work with your energy so that it is beneficial to us? Because she's not proud. She's not proud to have become what she is, but she stands firm in what she is and she believes in what she is, if that makes sense. Like, she's not happy that this is what she has had to become, but she will remain what she is until the balance has been restored or justice has been served. And so the way that she wants us to use her energy is to find that inner anger, that inner darkness, and to have a relationship with it, understand it, sit with it, and at least just look at it and know that it's there for a reason. We are not angry for no reason. And I think in my last video, I spoke about the male loneliness epidemic, and I talked about how women have this natural ability to assist men, at least the men that are trying to be better, because men are lonely right now, they're committing suicide, and it seems like there's been a lack of purpose and drive, which is what women provided, as in like with families and things like that. Now that women don't need that anymore, men have to find a new purpose. So what is that? It's healing. They need to heal, they need to evolve, you're right? But women are naturally good at assisting men with doing that, okay? That definitely got a lot of, didn't get a good response, especially from women, but it was very clear that it's from women who have been burned by men. And so, again, it's not that women or people in general want to be angry. They don't want to be resentful. They just are now. And it's as a result of injustice. What she wants is for us to have that anger within us, have that feminine rage within us, and channeled in a very balanced and healthy way so that we never have to get to the point of even being angry in the first place. That would require discernment and accountability and boundaries, setting very healthy, clear, no wavering boundaries. Because usually resentment is the result of someone crossing your boundaries. And so why is anyone crossing your boundaries? Because sometimes people are just bad. Some people are just evil. But how do we know that sometimes maybe we didn't allow them to cross our boundaries? How do we know that we didn't let them test the waters in treating us poorly? Even though it comes from a good place, like we want to be loved, we want to be loving. But sometimes we do that so much to the point we abandon ourselves. It's the prevention of abandoning ourselves is what she wants her energy to be used for. Now, but this requires a lot of discipline, and it requires a lot of discernment and a lot of healing work and a lot of self-reflection, because I've been guilty. I definitely have been guilty. There was a point in my life where I thought that if I just gave more love, then eventually the universe would return it back to me and I would get that love back, when that's just not how that works. There is a balance that needs to be maintained. There is a giving and a receiving, and that all dwells within ourselves. She wants it to be known that the rage is not the destination. So, and listen, sometimes people are just evil and bad things happen to good people. There have been a lot of women, more than we should be proud of, obviously. Like, there have been so many crimes against women that are still happening today. And I mean, the majority of murders are committed by men, right? So this anger towards men, it's understandable. It's understandable, okay? There's no arguing with that, okay? But what she is saying, and listen, and she is the epitome of feminine rage, okay? So the fact that she's saying this, I feel like should carry weight. Her anger, that rage, should not be the destination. The rage should be the fuel to balance the injustice. It's a fuel. And as a fuel, it should be channeled in a balanced and intentional direction. So if bad things happen to somebody who doesn't deserve it, right? Well, take me as an example, right? I've had bad things happen to me. Okay, my father was an abusive alcoholic. All right, so there was a lot there. I've ended up in the hospital. Okay, I have been followed. I've almost been attempted to be trafficked at least twice. I've been drugged, right? Like I've had my fair share of bad experiences with men. Now, of course, with my personal beliefs though, I believe that I am contracted to have certain experiences and that I chose those experiences. That's just my belief. Okay. But even if it wasn't my belief, what if my belief was that I didn't contract any of that and that was just an unfortunate thing that happened to me, right? Either way, what is my choice going to be today? Am I going to let that define me? Or am I going to use that as fuel? Kali Ma, when she gave me that visual, and when I sit in her energy, she is not one to be a victim. Like, you are not going to break her. She is going to find a way to just be significantly stronger than she ever knew she could be. And she also knows that she couldn't have manifested that power had she not gone through the pain to begin with, because she was born out of the pain. And honestly, it's funny because when I was meditating with her recently, I called her like the ultimate final girl. I've talked about this whole final girl thing on my YouTube channel. It's like my Instagram handle. The final girl is the survival girl in horror movies. And the final girl is the reason why I like horror movies. I like watching this, victim-like girl who just seems like she can't really take care of herself and, whatever, she's a bimbo, I don't know. And she goes through this movie and then it's a horror movie and all of her friends start dying and like the killer's coming after her. And then there's a turning point where she says, enough is enough. And she stops running and she fights the killer. And she wins, which is why she is the final girl. Kali Ma is the ultimate final girl. There is no stopping her. Even when bad things happen to her, she is not going to let that define her. She is going to use that pain, that rage as fuel to become something better, something stronger. She refuses to give her power away to those events, to those people, to any situation that doesn't deserve her power. Because when we hold on to that pain, when we hold on to those situations that we've experienced before, we give a piece of ourselves to it and it stays with it until we heal it. She is more powerful than her physical body. She is more powerful than those events and the experiences she's had. She experienced them, but she isn't them. She refuses to be broken. But there is this other side of her. This other side is actually loving. Clearly, she has some level of love if she also didn't kill the other women in the visual that she gave me, right? And The energy that I get from her is that she would not harm anybody that is just. Anybody who would not attempt to hurt her or hurt other people. And she definitely would not hurt anyone that is trying to help the less fortunate or those that can't defend themselves. She is a protector for those who can't protect themselves. But she is also a teacher on how you can learn to protect yourself in a number of different ways. And I don't know if maybe she's just applying this to modern day people or women in general, but she really wants people, and women especially, to have significantly firmer boundaries, to feel very comfortable with saying no. Saying no is part of one of the aspects of the duality. Saying yes is the other aspect, okay? They are both equal and balanced. And so saying yes all the time to a person or a relationship or situations, work, whatever, doing that to the point of just overgiving, that is going to create resentment within yourself. And feeling like you're taken advantage of, that's going to create resentment. Saying no more often, that's a good thing. It just needs to be balanced. But again, being too much on this side too, on the side of no, that is also not balanced. Being on the side of resentment and rage and anger, that also is not going to serve you in the end. It is not the destination. It is only meant to be used as fuel so that you honor yourself and you balance the giving and the receiving within yourself. And it's funny because I meditated a little bit yesterday on her, and she was kind of getting me like hyped up, right? It was fun, but I didn't have time to film. So I decided to film today, but I was a little tired. It's kind of in the morning right now. I just wasn't feeling it that much. So I asked her for some energy so that I can express that kind of energy through the video. And after I said that, I immediately noticed, and didn't even register that it was her energy. I immediately noticed that I started to think about things that were imbalanced in my life when it comes to like my personal relationships or work or whatever. And I started to get a little angry. I was starting to get a little irritated, and I'm thinking of certain scenarios like, well, I've done so much of that for them and they haven't really done that for me too. So I'm just not going to do that anymore. And I'm starting to get like worked up. I get so lost in these thoughts and I'm like, I can't think about this right now. I need to think about this video. And I was like, why? I asked for some energy, some Kali Ma energy. Like, I don't know why I'm thinking about these things. And then finally it's like, ding, like it clicked in my head. That is her energy. She is about the balance. And yeah. But again, that energy is not the destination. It's meant to be used as fuel to get to a more balanced destination, a more just place. So just remember, she does not condone revenge. Because I asked her about revenge. Like, well, okay, would you go after revenge? And she does not condone that. Rather, she would rather you stand firm and not allow someone to come so far past your boundaries that you need the thoughts of revenge to make yourself feel better. Just don't allow that energy to happen in the first place. That might happen still. And if it does, use that energy as fuel for the next point. I have to admit that this was definitely one of the cooler origin stories, like villain origin stories I've ever seen. But yeah. So if you're needing assistance with tapping into that darker anger side of you in a balanced way, Kali Ma might be of assistance to you. But always remember, the rage is not the destination. The destination is balance and peace. But I hope you liked the video. Give it a thumbs up if you did. Consider subscribing, and I will see you next time.